All right, so today we're working on this, what year is this?
'09.
'09 Jeep Wrangler Rubicon, Rubik's Cube. So we're working on the '09 Wrangler Rubik's Cube, and then we're gonna, my buddy Dane, he picked this up not too long ago, and anytime you buy a used vehicle, you're gonna find little problems here and there and stuff. So he's been having a little bit of an issue of a coolant leak. And instead of just replacing stuff, we're gonna go ahead and look and see where it's leaking from. So he just showed up where it's still nice and hot. The thing is on fire, I'm telling you. So one of the things that we wanna do, and I'm gonna tell you this, before you just go popping any lids and pulling stuff apart on the cooling system, because we got a radiator cap over here, and before you start pulling that, it's under pressure. And if you don't know how to check that, because that could be dangerous, right? You got a hot vehicle and the radiator's under pressure, and you just pop that cap, fluid's gonna come shooting all over you, and you get to feel what a lobster feels like when it gets thrown into the pot, and probably look like one when it's done. Not a place you want to be. So I always like to find one of the radiator hoses and just give it a squeeze. You can look here, you can see it's bulged a little bit. So yes, it's hot. Get your man hands out and give it a squeeze. You can see I'm getting a little bit of a squeeze, but there's still a good amount of tension coming back on me. Some of these older ones will have springs in them. They don't really do that much anymore, but I can tell there's still pressure in here. I can also hear the thermostat working. That's interesting. But yeah, so I'm gonna wait till it depressurizes, cools down a little bit, and then we're gonna go ahead and pop the cap. And what we're gonna do is we're just gonna pressure test this real quick and try to discover where the leak is. My guess is that it's the seam of the radiator. These newer vehicles are all plastic radiators, aluminum radiators with plastic caps, and they're literally just pinched on. Over time with the, the hot and cold, expansion, contraction, that little pinch seam just starts to kind of loosen up. And so that's my guess, is we're probably gonna be putting a radiator, but Dane's a friend of mine. And instead of him just throwing money at something to find out that it was actually just something else, we're gonna help him out here. So we're gonna throw a pressure tester on here. We'll show you what that looks like, but give me a chance. Let it cool down for a minute, okay? Because I don't feel like going all lobster style on this thing and just getting baked outside here in the open. If I'm gonna do that, it's gonna be in the closed, I guess. I don't know. That's kind of weird, but I don't want to do that. So we're gonna wait till we cool down, and we're gonna throw a pressure tester on it, see where it's leaking, and see what other little issues that we need to address from a brand new-ish used vehicle. Haha, you like it? Here we go. We'll be back when it's cooler on the engine. Ooh, steamy. Dude, it's not even that cold out. She's hot. That's why you use a nice cool wet rag to take it off. Slowly. Take your time. Take your time. Anyway. You ever seen one of these? You ever seen one of these? I hope so. Sheesh. You can get them at Harbor Frigate if you wanted to. If the guy really wanted to. All right, so we got the cap off. We're gonna look right here. 12 pound cap. So we want to see what it's, what the cap's rated at, for one. And then we're just gonna lock in this guy. We got all the adapters for it. Everything's here in these kits. Usually Harbor Freight has one. You can pick one up. I've got a couple of them because they always seem to come up missing in the shop when we had the mechanic shop. So you just buy a handful of them. You have them everywhere because it's a handy dandy tool. So right now I've got it at 12 pounds. These things are handy dandy for a couple of reasons. One, you can see, you can pressurize it, leave it alone, and then see if you start losing pressure, which means I got a leak somewhere. Or I can actually overpressurize just a little bit, which is, you hear that? So that's what I want to do here, is overpressurize a little bit. And I'm watching this needle drop. Watch, check it out. We'll give it a little bit of extra pressure. Well, shoot. So what this should let me do is be able to find the leak. So if I put a little bit of extra pressure on, I know this cap releases at 12 pounds. It sends the fluid back to the catch can or overflow reservoir. That little Frenchy box. So we're gonna make sure that this is good. Fly. We're gonna make sure this is good and tight. There is a fly. I am telling you, he needs to die. Get out the yellow rag and he runs away. So I want to overpressurize this system a little bit. We can tell it's, I mean, that's hard as a rock. So we got full pressure on here. We're gonna watch the gauge, see if it drops, and then just try and see if there's any fluid seeping from everywhere. That's kind of the idea here. So we're putting pressure on the whole fluid system. If there is a leak, again, we know this is 12 pounds. So if I bring it up to like 17 pounds, we know we have a leak at 12. So at 17, it should be a little bit bigger leak, right? More pressure, bigger leak, yada, yada, yada. So we're just gonna be able to, this kind of gives an idea of, without this thing running and being super hot, it allows me to see where water is flowing, where it's escaping. So we'll crawl around, see if there's some moisture, because with the heat of the engine, a lot of that coolant has already kind of coagulated, dried up. And so now we're just gonna crawl around and see if we can't find where we're getting some moisture. Moist. The favorite word of so many people. Anyways, so that's all we're doing. That's why you have one of these. And then when you're done, like let's say you replace a radiator or you do a coolant line, you want to check for leaks. You don't always have to drive it around and get it super hot to see if there's leaks. I'd rather do it while it's still cold. So you just pressurize the system and see if there's any leaks. All right. So I just pumped it again because the needle had fallen. So I've got it at like 18 pounds, call it. Right between the 17 and 19. It's in the 17 to 19 range. But I am seeing something. If you want to follow me over here. Yeah, right there. We got some drip. It's got the drip. So we know we got something coming out somewhere. When I came out earlier, it was actually a little bit lower on pressure. So got the handy dandy streamlight. And we're gonna look and see if we can't figure out. So I'm gonna crawl underneath this pig and see if we can't discover something more. Yeah. Oh God. Okay. Uh-huh. Well, I found moisture. I found it. I almost just dripped it in my eye. So yeah, it's definitely coming from the seam of this radiator. It's just kind of running down slowly. So we're probably gonna be slamming a radiator in this thing. Now I recommend, if you're gonna put a radiator in, do a thermostat while you're there. You've already drained the cooling system. Sometimes radiators go bad because the thermostat went bad and it overpressurized it. Sometimes. So just do it, right? Just do it. Do it one time. It's just worth it. Maybe even put a new cap on it. It's a couple extra bucks, you know? A couple bolts. It's not a big deal. Just do it right the first time. It's gonna drip again. So we have confirmed that it is a radiator by just a simple pressure test. There it goes. Just dripped right on my hand. That's why you keep your eye sockets away from the drip, because that would have been like an eye drop. And those hurt, especially when they're made of coolant. Don't recommend it. All right, so today our goal is to get this 2009 Jeep Wrangler. We're gonna get the radiator replaced on this. Now we're gonna do some more upgrades on this in the future. So I wanna introduce you guys to Dane. Dane's gonna be a familiar face you're gonna find on this channel a lot more. He's been a good friend of mine. We used to run another company together, Dirty Dog Off-Road, back in the day. and we've just done a lot of stuff together. So now we finally have the parts in. We went on, Dane went on and ordered the right parts. We're going to upgrade it with an aluminum radiator, getting rid of the plastic that's on here, which is by far and above a great upgrade, especially for the Jeeps, especially in this hot weather here in Phoenix, Arizona. So we're going to hammer this out, hopefully get it done today. That's our goal. We only got a little bit of daylight left. Yep, there it is. And we're going to try, I couldn't find the sun there for a minute. But we're gonna try and get this done today. That's our goal. We've got upper lower hoses we got to do, thermostat, maybe top off the coolant when we're done.
Hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully.
Probably a good idea.
Okay. And then we're gonna swap out the radiator. I'm gonna let Dane do a bunch of the work here.
Great.
And we're just gonna bring you guys along, show you how to do this so that you can know how to go home and replace your own radiator instead of having a shop do it. Right?
Yep. I think he was talking about taking the air box off. Is that what he said? So we'll start there. Driving along, minding my own business. It's a Jeep, so doing the speed limit basically. And I noticed there was some water sprinkles on the driver's side windshield. Like somebody had kicked their washers on in front of me, but there was nobody in front of me. And then it started to smell kind of sickly sweet, which said, oh, crap. And knowing it had a leak, I was like, great. The radiator just split open on the freeway and just started puking coolant all over itself. And as that was happening, I could start seeing water spraying out from right here onto the hood and some steam. So, you know, good times if you've ever had a radiator go on you.
Pull that
Excuse
cap.
me, pardon me. I did.
Oh, okay, good.
Gotcha.
Why are these?
So, as I'm cruising up the freeway, getting ready to pull over, I start watching the temperature gauge climb. Luckily, I was able to get off the freeway, get into a parking garage, shut it down, and let it cool off a little bit. When I pop the hood,
yeah, that one comes right off.
The upper hose on the radiator side had blown itself off right in the bucket. And it just started puking coolant all over the place. So it was basically empty. Luckily, I was, hey, look, that looks like it's been replaced at some point too.
Well, there's your problem. She's still got the tag on it. Somebody intended on returning it.
I guess one thing to note though is you can see all of the crusties. It looks like it's been sitting in the ocean for a little bit.
The boogas?
It's been leaking for a while.
Yeah.
Awesome. Anyway, yeah, so I was able to top it off with water, put the hose back on, and get it home. And it's actually driven fine since then. But that's why the coolant doesn't look like coolant, it looks like water, because it is water.
Because it is. All right, this the overflow reservoir literally just slides right off. You'll see there's a little couple hooks right here on this. If you look in your housing, your fan shroud housing here, there's a large side, the skinny side. Just pop it in, slides right down. One of the things to do is make sure the top and the bottom are both locked in when you're putting this back. We'll show that to you later. But sometimes we forget the bottom and this thing's just kind of flopping around and it breaks the top one off. Not a good idea. But you can keep it upright. It'll store all the fluids until you do that. Just leak all over your electronicals. It's okay. It's a Jeep. It's meant to do that.
Luckily, it's just water.
Yeah, true.
Obviously, this 09, it's got 170,000 miles on it. Has seen some use. So, as we saw the taggy on the hook,
Whichever one you want.
the radiator's been replaced at some point potentially before because that tag was still on it. The upper hose didn't look factory. The hose clamps didn't look factory. But we'll see what happens with this one.
We shall see. It's like this Jeep went to Louis Vuitton but can't afford it, so it left the tag on.
Everyone's got to know.
Get the hook underneath and walk it around. Just make sure
Feels crusty.
Make sure you punch your knuckles.
Yes. That's what I'm trying to not do.
No repair is done until you have
Left skin.
bled. Now I do want to reiterate one point, and something we are going to be doing is replacing the thermostat. So sometimes, many times, a failed thermostat can cause a radiator to have issues. You're already in here. You're already drained. Everything's already out of it. All the juice is out of the vehicle. Replace the thermostat. You're in here. Just do it, okay? Trust me. Would you? What is this? Did somebody leave a finger in here?
Ew. Oh, that's it's awesome. Yeah, it looks like somebody's bandaged. Is it hard?
It's not. It's like squishy, but like it's literally hollow, like it was on someone's finger.
Looks like it was legit somebody's bandaged finger.
We're gonna have to take the AC condenser off as well.
Oh yeah, that's probably
we'll have to loosen that one, and then probably make sure that your new radiator has all this stuff before we get too far. It's like chewing gum. Nope. Nope, not gonna do it. We'll also need to save these grommets because we'll need them on the new radiator.
They seem pretty new.
Maybe they've been replaced on too. Well, then you've got it in the right direction now, don't you?
I think that's why you're here.
Nope. I'm here just to look pretty.
Doing a great job.
You're doing a great job.
Now this is why you have friends. Perfect.
Technically, those could have gone up. Clickety click.
All right, back this thing up.
Roller back.
No.
Just start it up.
Yeah. Not gonna hurt anything. Start it for a little bit. Oh, the old exhaust rattle. Come on back. This is one of those fun refill tools. You seen one of these before?
No.
No,
No.
I don't want it.
Is the coolant still in the Jeep?
Huh?
The new coolant, is it still in your...
Oh, probably.
Let me go grab that.
So all we're gonna do is we're gonna lock this guy in. And what this does is it allows me to pull vacuum on the Jeep, on the cooling system. So basically what we're gonna do is we're gonna connect here, we're gonna pull all the air out of the cooling system, and then we'll fill it up from the bottom up. And that way we don't have to worry about air bubbles, air pockets, because air bubbles and air pockets are the worst thing you can have for any engine. And on Jeeps, they tend to put this spot right here as a high point. If you notice, it sits right about the same height, maybe just a little bit higher than the radiator cap. And so typically what we can do is get actual air pockets stuck in here, which will cause overheating. So you don't want air in your system. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna do this the right way, because we can. And we're gonna hook up some air, and I'll show you what we do. Make sure that's locked in. Open up this system and you'll watch the gauge start moving. All we're doing is we're pulling a vacuum. And actually, if you watch over here, eventually we'll see there's a hose collapsing. And that's exactly what we want to do. We're just pulling all the air out of the system. We're going to suck this thing down as much as we can. This will accomplish two things. One, it'll let us fill the system from the bottom up so we can get all the air out of the system. Number two, it'll help us see if there's any leaks in the system. It's not 100% accurate because a leak under vacuum doesn't mean it's a leak under pressure. But if it's a completely sealed system, we shouldn't have any vacuum leaks at all. So my gauge is going to be dropping down. We want to get it somewhere between that 25 and 30 range. Once it gets down to there, we'll just simply take this valve, we'll close it, and we'll see if we'll let it sit for a little bit, and we'll see if that gauge moves. So let me go ahead and pull some more air out of the system. We'll just pull the valve back open. We'll pull some more air out. It takes a minute because it's into suction, so now it's really trying to pull it out. It's using a lot of Venturi effect, so it's air flowing past, and it's pulling suction onto the system. So we're gonna let it sit here for a little bit. We're gonna let it pull down as much as it can. I'll shut this valve, and then we're gonna see if that gauge moves or not. So we're pretty close to where we wanna be. This takes a little bit of time, so we'll be back. We'll show you this once we get this down to about the pressure where we want it to be.
I was expecting to smell this, and I smelled that. I'd rather smell anything. That's what happens when you're downwind.
All right, so we're losing daylight, but that doesn't matter to you. It matters to me. Well, it kind of matters to you because then it gets all fuzzy and grainy and weird on the... It doesn't matter. Why am I even talking about that? Look, the gauge. That's what I'm talking about, okay? I shut it down. We shut the valve. We closed it off, so we're no longer supplying air to the valve. We're no longer creating suction. So any hissing you hear is just minor leaks in here. But what I did is shut it down. I got both valves shut, and we're watching this gauge. We got it about as far as it's going to go right now. You do see that we pulled the air box off since last time you were here just a couple minutes ago. The reason we did that is because I found that this clamp down here was loose. We went to tighten it, and actually the housing for the screw was shot, so it wasn't able to tighten the clamp properly. So I replaced that clamp, pulled down air again, and right now it seems to be holding. Before, when you would shut it down, that needle would just start sliding. So we did find the leak. We were able to pinpoint it to there, and we're gonna make sure. So we're just kind of in a holding pattern right now. We're just gonna, for the next 10 minutes, and make sure that we don't have a needle move. That's the whole goal. Do you want to watch, or do you want to come? We'll let you come back later. I think it's a good idea. We'll watch it and just trust us as we drop tools. And then we'll come back later and we'll show you how the rest of this tool works and how it refills the system. We've been sitting here actually just kind of chit-chatting about you guys, believe it or not. So we've been doing all this stuff. We've been watching this gauge. Come on over here, take a look at this. Look at this. It hasn't moved, I mean, a tick. What that tells me is that we've got a sealed system, and that's what we're looking for. So all the hoses are collapsed nice and tight. Everything is good. I mean, like, this stuff is like a rock. It's perfect. So, and this gauge hasn't moved at all. So that's exactly what we wanted. Now, I have a hose clamp down here. It's not to hold this guy on here. It's actually just as a weight. That's all it is, to hold it down to the bottom of the bucket so that when I put this in the bucket, it doesn't float up. What we're gonna do is we're just gonna drop this hose into the bucket. We want it to stay at the bottom of the bucket because, again, we don't want to pick up air. So Dane went ahead and mixed up. You saw him doing that earlier. We got a mixture of just universal coolant. I like universal when I drain the system because no matter where you are, you can refill it. You can find this stuff. If you're doing a HOT or specific kind, sometimes you can't find it when you're out there in, wherever you are, stuff. So if you're out there, do that. What you want to do is you want to get your bucket or I used to use like a 5-gallon, what are they called? The water jugs for the coolers.
Oh yeah.
Those are really nice because they have a smaller neck, and if it kind of gets knocked over, you don't have to worry about it. But just drop this guy down in the bucket all the way to the bottom, and just real simple is this valve right here that's connected to that hose. We're just going to open this up, and we should see some coolant start flying through this hose. We'll watch that gauge go down, and we'll see the hoses start opening up. And all that's doing is it's using the power of the suction to pull all the coolant back in, and it's filling the cooling system from the bottom all the way to the top. So you'll see some of these lower hoses, everything will start opening up, but it's replacing that space instead of with air, with coolant.
With vacuum.
Because of the vacuum, because we sucked it all down. So that's all it's doing. The reason why we want to put the bucket higher is because when this thing gets down low enough, it will continue to use on, what did I call it earlier? Siphon.
Siphon.
Kind of works like a siphon, right? So if the bucket's down lower, it's a little bit harder for it to siphon. If you got your fluid level higher than your hose, the siphon works better. I don't know if you guys ever did that on gas tanks in the old days. I heard.
I've heard.
I've heard from a friend. It's nothing that I ever did. I used to try to siphon propane tanks. That didn't work too well. That's not a good idea.
No, it's not.
It's a fiery situation. So we're getting down to where this gauge is almost completely dropped out. And so now we're seeing our upper hose starting to expand right here. This is an easy way to refill a system. These tools, I don't even know how much they are anymore. I've had mine for a while, but very handy dandy. Very handy dandy. And it's a nice way to make sure that you're really not getting any air in the system. Sure, you get a little bit, just this little bit from the hose. That's not a big deal. So our overflow reservoir is still full. You can look up how much the capacity is on your engine, your specific vehicle. Make sure you make more than enough, because the last thing you want to do is be halfway through this process. Well, I mean, it's going to leak out a little bit, Drew. Jeez. The last thing you want to do is be halfway through this process and your jug go empty, because then hopefully you can shut it down and get it restarted again. But right now you've got the siphon going, everything's going. So just make more than enough. You can always pour it back. It's going to be okay. It's going to be fine. By the way, Drew, you got that number right on the spot, didn't you? You're like, oh, it's going to be, what did you say?
3.2.
3.2? It was 3.25. This guy, I'm telling him, he's up there.
He's got the numbers guy.
He's the bleep bloops. He's like the Rain Man of coolant. I'm telling you, I
Do you watch Judge Judy? No?
Judge Judy?
Judge
No.
Judy? No.
No, not really. I have
No,
a, I have
it's
a life.
Wapner. Yeah, gotta watch Wapner.
I'm not a 70-year-old woman smoking cigarettes in my living room. No, I don't watch Judge Judy. So anyways, we're going to continue filling this. We're just going to monitor it for a little bit. We're going to let it sit, siphon, do its thing. It's as simple as that. Then we'll fire this thing up. We'll let it cycle, get the thermostat open. We should be golden. We should be golden. So we'll bring you back as soon as we get this thing warmed up, and we'll let you know and show you that it's all working. Hopefully.
For anyone that wants to address in the comments the HOT and OAT coolant issues with the JKs, the 3.8, 3.6, HOT and OAT. I can't remember off the top of my head which one's which. One of them takes HOT, the other one takes OAT. Purple, orange, blah, 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 whatever. Yes, this is universal. Yes, the HOT and the OAT have other additives to help with corrosion in these engines, is what everyone says. I understand that. This 3.8 has 170,000 miles on it. I don't expect this engine to last much longer. It might. Great. I expect this engine to blow sometime in the next year or two, and I don't think having universal coolant versus the HOT or OAT in it is going to make that big of a difference to me, and if it does, then we're going to V8 swap it. So
I like that idea. And the other thing too to understand about coolant that I think a lot of people don't understand is that they think it's just for helping fluid to not freeze, right? Yes, it changes the freezing point of water, so hopefully you don't get the cracking in your block. And what do we need that for in Phoenix, Arizona? I didn't understand it for a while. I was like, I'll just run water because I don't need that in Arizona. We don't have to deal with that issue here. But what it also does, and I didn't learn this until later, but it actually creates a layer on the internal of your block. So as that water is hitting a boiling point and those little bubbles, if it gets hot, those little tiny bubbles, they pop at an extremely high PSI that people don't even realize. And so what it does is it helps eliminate pitting inside the block. And so the proper coolant mixture is vital, because if you don't have that, then those bubbles stick on the inside of the block, and when they pop, they actually create little pits, and over time that'll wear through an engine block. So make sure that your coolant is a proper mix. Don't just throw water in it, guys. I mean, keep those bubbles. It keeps them from sticking on the inside and will maintain the inside of your engine a lot better. So again, we'll bring it back once this is filled up. Thank you, Dane, for that hot oat boat and rote tote information.
And don't mix hot and oat, because it will sludge and
It
become
will. It'll
white
get nasty.
slime in there. It's
Yeah.
disgusting.
So we'll get this heated up and we'll bring you guys back when we're done. I forgot to tell you guys about another step if you want to. You don't have to, but if you're gonna do it proper and you're gonna have all the fancy tools, why not? This guy, the pump. Take that as you will. But real quick, we just took the other tool off, the suction tool, the refill tool, and I want Drew, come over here and look at this. We did not top off any of this coolant. So this is where it leaves you, like perfectly topped off, boop, right? So, ooh, Gatorade.
Live in line.
So if we want to be proper about it, we're gonna go ahead and put this guy on. And it works just like any other pump that you have around. Dane's losing it over here. What is the PSI on our radiator?
16? Wasn't that what we were talking about? Like 1.1, 15.
1.21 gigawatts. We're gonna pump this up to 1.21 gigawatts. And a little bit more. So we're gonna bring this up into that range. I think that's it. I can't see.
These are bifocals?
Yes. Wow, look at that. I'm like right on 15. Almost like I know my gauge. So we're gonna bring it actually just a little bit above what the pressure of the gauge is gonna be. Again, we'll see where that needle's sitting. So I'm right along on the edge of this box here. Just a rough idea. So we're gonna look at two things. One, I'm gonna see if that needle drops. And number two, we're gonna inspect around. We're gonna look at all the clamps. We're gonna look at all down here by the thermostat. We'll look at where all the clamps are, the hoses up here by this hoser. Inspect the radiator, the petcock, everything, and we want to make sure that we're not seeing any kind of seepage, leakage. That's another nice thing about filling it this way, is that you shouldn't have spillage and coolant everywhere. Now, we did, but if you see, it's off to the side of the vehicle. All of our radiator stuff's going to be underneath there, and you can see it's all really dry. So another thing we can do is just kind of see if there's any drips. Wait for a minute and see if the Jeep's got the drip. And if it doesn't have the drip, then we know that we've got a sealed system. So we've got vacuum, it held pressure, or it held suction, and now we're gonna see if it holds pressure, because suction is one thing, and it could be actually closing that hose on, right? And holding that with suction, or there could be a pinch in the hose and it's not able to see the leak on the other side of that. So now that we've refilled the system, we'll pressurize it, we'll keep an eye on it, then we'll heat it up and we'll let the thermostat open and the water flow, and that's your triple check for leaks. How about that? Catch me outside. Wait, I am outside. You already caught me out here. How weird. Watching. Watching. Don't you do it. I know you want to. I know you want to move. But I told you not to. And you're a good listener. Good boy. Good boy. Stay. It's like a puppy dog. Stay. You see any leaks?
No. I'm not seeing any. And
I mean, we're holding pressure, so that's...
it's not weeping anywhere. It's all dry.
Ah! It's wet right there. Gonna come down here, get this, and... Oh my God, it's soaking everywhere! Oh, it's leaking over here on the front of the bumper. Your bumper's leaking.
The bumper's leaking coolant.
I mean, that's probably pretty good, dude. I don't know. I mean, like, it's It hasn't moved. So I don't know. We need to sit here forever.
I think
But-
we're calling it good.
He's tight. He's tight like a twigger. This is the part I hate because then this like
This makes a mess.
spooges everywhere.
Yeah. Now it's leaking.
Well, it's leaking everywhere. Just rip the Band-Aid off. Hey, you jumped. It's gonna get me. So if you want, Dane, we'll just top that little bit off and then. Yeah, well, yeah, it's right out with the bucket. Oh, this will be fun. I can't wait. Here, let me stand over here.
Can't you put this into the container again?
No, this is a lot more fun. Let's see how good you are. Oh, the guy's done it before. Never mind.
Oops. Almost.
All right, throw the new cap on it and fire it up. It's going into the overflow now.
Where did the cap go?
I got one here. There's like 3 of them.
No, I put the other one back in the box, so that's it. It's over there. She's on.
Gio! Let's put the airbox on.
Oh yeah. Details.
Now, technically, you don't need to. So let's just be realistic. I'm gonna do it because you guys will yell at me if I don't. Perfect. Fire in the hole!
Fire in the hole.
Make sure you put your fingers in the way now.
Don't mind that rattle.
Sounds like a minivan.
Factory.
Sounds like a minivan. Now this is the hardest part of the whole job.
Listening to that rattle. Sorry,
This is all we do for like the next 15 minutes. I guess you could go drive it, put some heat into it.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll do that. Or we'll go eat a carrot
Eat a carrot.
or some Dippin' Dots while we're waiting. What do you guys think? By the time you tell me, we will have already made the decision. So did your decision align with ours? Let me know right down there in the comments. We'll bring him back. Let's get this heated up. Let's get that thermostat to open. We'll bring it back when we're done because you don't need to hear that rattle. It's just singing a song. Sing along. So the Jeep's back there, it's running, it's idling, it's doing its thing. The fan kicked on, it got to what, 230?
230.
Got to about 230
Go high.
degrees, and then all of a sudden it goes, pew, and the fan drops out, right down to 192, and it's sitting, maintaining a good 210 right now?
Yeah, 210, 214.
Yeah, so 210, 214. If you want to get technical, get the numbers. Got to get those 4 degrees in, you know. I do agree here in Arizona, 110 is one thing, 111, whole nother thing. So I get it. The Jeep probably feels the same way. Just saying. So it's sitting there maintaining between 210, 214. It's been idling for a long time. That aluminum radiator is working out really good. If you understood any of that, good for you. But it's working out great. The fan cycling, the thermostat cycling, everything's perfect. We've got no leaks, just like we expected. But you know, we also use all the fun tools and did all that stuff. So we appreciate you guys coming along. Hopefully you learned something, you know, maybe what to do or what not to do. Because we maybe showed some of that, I don't know. But hopefully you had a good time. It's all there. Dane gets to go home in his own Jeep. Holy crap. How do you like that, Dane?
Woohoo!
Woohoo! So we appreciate you guys coming along. Thank you so much for liking the video. Thank you for the thumbs up or whatever that does. The subscribe thing, all the bleep stuff, the comments. Actually, I want to say I really do appreciate the comments. You guys have been amazing on that, and I love the questions. I love just the interaction with you guys. I think that's really, really cool. So I appreciate it. And gals, I keep forgetting you. There's gals here too. Can't forget them. But I do appreciate every one of you. Thank you so much. Make sure you guys are liking, commenting, sharing, doing all that fun stuff. helping us grow, because then maybe one day we can have a shop and we don't have to go find some light somewhere. I saw the light. Anyways, thank you guys. Love you all. We appreciate y'all, and have a wonderful, well, whatever it is for you right now. Night, day, I don't know. It's nighttime for me. I'm gonna go eat some carrots.
Wait for the airplane.
There's the airplane, right where we get going, always, every time. Come on down, get worked on. I keep telling you guys, just land in the street. Squeaky, squeaky. Okay. Smoky barbecue. Beef stick. Chomps. It's what I eat. Keeps me healthy. Grass-fed and finished beef. All stick without the ick. What do you think of that? 0 sugar, tons of protein. When a guy gets hungry. Chomps. Get you some. First form. Keeps you going.